Hello students, welcome to a new chapter today, that is pollination and fertilization. So students, before starting of the lecture pollination and fertilizations, you should be able to collect up some of the terms related to flower, that is monoecious and dioecious. Why? Because this monoecious and dioecious is going to help you to understand this chapter in a more perfect and sensible way. Okay, so let's start with the lecture. The first, you have already studied this word pollination in your lower standards, that is 8th standard. So first we are going to introduce with the definition. Okay, what do you mean by term pollination? Pollination is the process of transferring of pollen grains from the anther to the stigma. So as we have studied in the flower chapter, okay, how does this anthers look like? This anther look like there is a filament, okay, and this is the anther, and this anther has been divided into two parts, and each part has a 4 lobes, this 4 pollen sac, okay. Each lobe has this 4 sac, that is called as a pollen sac, in which the pollens are produced. And stigma, let's make a female part. So this is a stigma, okay. This is the style. The style holds up the stigma, and this is nothing but the ovary. Inside the ovary there are some ovules like this, okay. So what happens in a pollination? The pollens which are produced inside this part, inside this pollen sac, when they get the favorable condition, this pollens, okay, what are the pollens? Pollens are nothing but the powdery form, okay, and they are quite sticky in nature. This pollens get transferred onto the stigma, okay, so like this. So what is the beneficial of this pollination? See, if the pollination is going to occur successfully, so definitely there would be a fertilization. And what will happen in a fertilization? Your ovary will convert into a fruit, this part, and these ovules which are situated inside this ovary will convert into seed. So what is pollination? Pollination is the process of transferring of the pollen grains. Where is the pollen grain? Inside this anther, okay, and they are going to transfer on this stigma. This is a stigma. Now there are different types of pollination, that is self pollination and cross pollination. This self pollination has been divided into 3 parts, that is autogamy, geitonogamy, okay, and cleistogamy. Let's understand this self pollination terms one by one. So first we are going to start with the self pollination. So first we will understand what do you mean by self pollination. Self pollination means the transfer of pollen from the anther to the stigma of the same flower, okay. Here self means what? Okay, here in this plants, suppose I am drawing this is a stigma, this is the style, this is the ovary, okay. In this same plant only there are 2 parts. This was a filament, okay, and this was the anther, and it has been divided into 2 lobes, and each lobes have 2 pollen sac. So total 4 pollen sacs are there inside this. So this was a self pollination. For a self pollination, the female part, this, and the male part, this, should be in the same flower, okay. So autogamy means in an easier term that the male and the female reside on the same flower, okay, that is the same flower. Now we are going to do about the geitonogamy, okay. What is geitonogamy? Here suppose the plant is same plant, but the difference would be different flower. Same plant but different flower. Okay, this condition can be also called as monoecious. We have already studied about this word before. Monoecious means they are having both the gender, that is male also and female also, but they are situated on the different flower. The third one is called cleistogamy. Here the word cleisto means closed. This is a very peculiar condition of pollination. This is a cleistogamy. This cleistogamy condition occurs in a pansy flower. What happens in a pansy flower? See, I am going to explain you. Suppose I am going to draw up a calyx, okay? And you know about the calyx. Okay, what is a calyx? Calyx is the green color part of the flower, okay? And suppose we are going to draw stigma, and here I am going to draw anther. So what is going to happen? This anther will have a pollen sac, and the pollen will transfer inside this stigma. So in cleistogamy, the word cleisto means close, as I already mentioned. See, this is a closed flower. So use your sense. Okay, as the flower is closed, so definitely there won't be any chance of cross pollination. Okay, there won't be chance of any cross pollination, because see, suppose I am drawing a male part out here. Okay, and suppose they will produce the pollens. So the pollens will fall like this, but the pollens will stick to here only, because this calyx will prove as a barrier. Okay, the calyx will prove as a barrier. So definitely there won't be chance any of cross pollination. So in pansy, this cleistogamy pollination occurs, which means close. Okay, the flower is closed. Inside this closed flower there is a male and the female flower both. And next is cross pollination, that is allogamy. The word allo means other, and gamy means marriage. Cross pollination means the male and the female flower both are different. Okay, they both are on the different flower. Suppose here is the stigma and style, okay, and here is your male part. Okay, they are on the two different flower. So this was about the allogamy. Let's understand with the help of a diagram. See, what happens? See, this is autogamy. Autogamy means, see, if you are going to see, this part has male flower and the female flower both. This is guillotinogamy. Okay, word guillotiно means neighbor. Auto means self. Word guillotiनो means neighbor. See, if you are going to see, suppose assume that this is the female part. Okay, female part, and this is a male part. The pollination is occurring in the same plant. but the difference is of flower. Okay, same plant but different flower. And this is completely different. This is plant A and this is plant B. So there are two different plants. Okay, but the species are same. Species means the breed part. Okay, the same. So this is the favor. This is a cross pollination. Suppose I assume that part A is male, suppose, and this is part B, which is female base. So what is going to happen? This bee is going to come on the plant A for nectar, and on this the pollens are going to get stick. If you are going to see this diagram carefully, so you can see of these pollens, and this pollens will fall on this female part. Okay, so this was all about the cross pollination, and this has been termed as allogamy, because the word allo means other and gamy means marriage. Now let's understand a difference between a self pollination and a cross pollination. In self pollination, no external agent is required. What do you mean by that? The agents, like you have already studied this in your 8th standard about the water, about the insect, about the wind. So in self pollination, they does not need any external agent. Because why? Because the male and the female are born on the same plant. So that's it. In the cross pollination, there is the requirement of the external agents. Like you need insect, it may be a water pollination. Okay, it may be due to wind. So many other factors will lead. So these are the external agents. As this does not require external agents, so the male and the female should mature at the same time. As it needs an external agent, so they do have the different type of maturation. Okay, it can occur when the plant is close. It can even occur when the plant is close, like a cleistogamy, as in a pansy flower I said. Pansy. In cross pollination, the flower should be always open. Why the flower should be always open? Because it will help to favor the cross pollination, so that the pollination can occur at the perfect time. Preserve the parental character. Preserve the parental character means, see, as in the self pollination, male and the female are born on the same plant. So due to this, when there will be a pollination occurrence, so the new flower will get that same characters. So it is going to preserve that parental character. Okay. In cross pollination, they does not preserve parental character. Why they does not preserve the parental character? Because in cross pollination, the male and the female are born on the different plants. As the male and the female are born on the different plant, so definitely there will be a pollination, but because of this the outcome will be in a more different way. Suppose, let's take an example to understand. If suppose, in an example of a colors I am going to give you, if suppose white color gets mixed with a pink color, sorry, if get mixed with a red color, so definitely it is going to give you the outcome pink. So that is why it does not preserve the parental character. This pink is very different, na? The outcome is not white also, and it is not red also. It is something very different color. What happens in a self pollination? The two of the colors are same. Like suppose white plus white will give outcome white only. If suppose red plus red will give you red only. But in cross pollination, it does not occur. The color of the flowers can change. Okay. In self pollination, new varieties are not possible. Okay, you have to be quite restricted. Why you have to be restricted? Because the self pollination occurs within the same flower only. But in cross pollination, new varieties can be produced. As I have given the examples, what was a mixture of white plus red? It was pink. So new varieties we can get of the flowers. Okay. Offsprings are generally not healthier in case of a self-pollination. Why they are not healthier? The reason is very simple. If suppose either a male or a female who is not perfectly born, okay, who is not perfectly mature, so what is going to happen? The pollination, if occurs in that kind of a flower, the outcome will be weak only, okay. But the offsprings are generally healthier. Why they are considered to be generally healthier? Because they can lead to new variety, and this new variety are more powerful than the self pollination flowers. Okay. Now condition favors cross pollination. Okay. So what are the conditions necessary for the cross pollination? Unisexuality. Let's understand. Unisexuality. Suppose we will take a unisexuality means single, uni means single, and sexuality means either a male or a female. Suppose, let's take an example. The male and the female are born on the separate plants. Okay. So definitely the cross pollination is going to happen in this kind of a plants. Self pollination is going to occur in this kind of a plant. The good example in which the plants like the male and the female are born on the different are palms and papaya. Okay, they usually have the different male and different female. Okay, but in some cases like cucumber, the male and female flower may be born on the same plant, but definitely they will be needing of the agents like insect, okay, for favoring of the pollination. So it can be called as a cross pollination also. Now we are going to learn about the dichogamy. The word dicho means different and gamy means marriage. Okay, different timing of maturation. Okay, the word gamy means marriage, right? The marriage means the maturation period they are talking about. Different timing of maturation, dichogamy means. Like we are going to see what happens if they mature at a different time. Suppose so I am going to make two conditions for you as of now. This is the male part and this is the female part. If suppose male is mature of that plant, male is mature of that plant, but the female part is not mature, okay, is not mature. So what is going to happen? The pollination is not going to happen, okay. In that type of plants, the pollinations are not going to happen, because for pollination the anther and the stigma should mature at the same time. Okay, suppose I said that male is going to mature first. If suppose male gets mature first, so that term would be called protoandry. Word proto means first, and the word andry came from the word androecium. Okay, you have already heard about this term, androecium. Means if the males get mature first, so it will be called as the protoandry. Some example of this: sweet pea, salvia, sunflower, bindi, etc. But if female is mature, if female get mature first, so it will be called as protogeny. Protogeny. The word proto means first and geny means gynoecium. Okay. So this condition occurs in a custard apple, people plants, etc. Now we are going to talk about the self-sterility. Orchids, okay, or orchids according to your pronunciation. What happens in orchids? The self-sterility, the word self means within and the sterility means not fertile. As this condition occurs in some humans also. Some of the couples who get married, after a long period of a time also, they does not have a baby. So that condition is called as a self-sterility. So the same thing occurs within the flower as well. If suppose stigma, and this is the anther, if suppose the pollens which are situated inside this anther, okay, inside this anther is going to go on this stigma, but this stigma is not going to accept this pollens. Okay, why it is not going to accept this? Because these plants are called self-sterility. They are not going to accept up the pollens of the same flower. So what is going to happen? They are not going to get pollinate. So suppose this is a stigma and this is the anther of a different flower. Now it is going to produce of the pollens like this. These pollens are going to get stick on the stigma. Now the pollination is going to occur. Why the pollination is going to occur? Because this is a female and this was a male. They both are born on the different plants. So that is why the self-pollination can't occur in such kind of a plant, but a cross-pollination can favor this. Examples of this are orchids or ray florets of sunflower. Now next condition, hercogamy. Hercogamy, as in a pensiflower I am going to talk. The word herco means barriers, okay, mechanical or structural barriers. In short, easy language you can say physical barriers. Now what happens in the hercogamy condition? This is a stigma and there is one barrier, and suppose on the same part only of the flower, this is the same plant, okay, there is the anther. If suppose the pollens will get, okay, this pollens got germinated, they got produced, but the pollination is not going to occur. Why it is not going to occur? Because this structure is acting as a barrier, okay, this structure is acting as a barrier in between. So does the pollination is going to occur or not? Yes, it is going to occur, but the anther should be of a different plant, okay, the anther should be of a different plant. So that is why it also favors of the cross pollination path. Now heterostyle, that is in the prism rose, okay, oxalis. Here the word hetero, you have already heard about this word in chemistry, word homo and hetero. What do you mean by hetero? Hetero means different. Okay, different style. Here, in some of the cases, this is a stigma, and this small one is your anther. Okay, or it can be of a reverse case. The stigma is not mature, like it's quite small, but the anther is quite big in this case. Anther is quite big in this case. So these are called the heterostyle. Different heights. In easier term means different heights. Due to the difference in their height, the pollination can't occur, because suppose in condition A, suppose I make it a condition A. In this condition, the pollens are going to produce, but they are not going to reach towards the stigma because the height of the anther is quite small. The pollens are going to stick on the style, and on style nothing is going to happen. We need stigma only for the proper pollination part. In this B condition, the pollens are going to get produced, but these are protruding outwards, like they are exactly located too much towards the outside. So what is going to happen? As the pollens are going to get produced, because of the factor of wind, the pollens are not going to stick on the stigma. Okay, so because of this, the pollination is not going to get occur. Now this is a diagram of a hercogamy. Okay, now this is a diagram of a hercogamy. You won't get a clear idea, but if you can see this part, okay, this is a calyx part which is acting as a barrier out here. This, and these are the heterostyle examples. Here in this diagram, if you are going to see, the anther is at top and style is below. This is called short style flower. Okay, here in this you can see the style is at top and the anther is below, so we can call it as a long style flower. When the style is bigger, so we are going to call it as a long styled. When the style is short, so we are going to call it as a short styled flower. Now agents which favors the cross pollination, they are insect pollination, wind pollination, water, ornithophily, elypophily, and artificial pollination. In the last year, you have studied about the insect, wind, and water, and you have heard this word also, ornitho. Ornitho means birds. Okay, this artificial pollination, artificial means not real. Okay, now let's talk about this agents of the cross pollination one by one. Who is going to favor the pollination? First, insect pollination. The insect pollination, in a biological term, it is called entomophilous. The word entomo means insect and the philous means loving. The philous means affinity. The affinity word means love only. Okay, in an easier and more compiled way, it is mean love only. What are the things that are quite necessary for the favorism of insect pollination? Let's understand. Okay, the flower should be large. Okay, why the flower should be large? The flower should be large, bright color, and scented. If these three conditions are there inside this plant, so insect can get easily attracted. Okay, because of scent and bright color, it can get easily attracted. Okay, and the plant should be large so that it could be quite visible for the insect eye. It should have a nectar. Why nectar? Nectar is a food for this insect, so they need food also. The pollen structure, the pollen grains are quite sticky in nature. So what is going to happen if the pollens are quite sticky? If the pollens are quite sticky, the pollens are going to get attached on the body of the insect. Okay, these pollens are going to get attached to the body. As these pollens are going to get attached to the body, so it becomes very easy for this bee to carry up the pollination. And the same bee who has this pollens got attached onto the body, when this bee visit to another flower, so it can spread up its pollen grains to that plant, so the pollination can get occur easily. These are the quite examples of dahlia and sweet pea. You can see in these plants this kind of pollination. Now we are going to discuss about the wind pollination. The wind pollination is called anemo. Why anemo? Because it's a biological term. Anemo means wind and the phyllis means affinity or love towards that part. Okay. As in the condition of insect pollination, the flowers were large, but in that part the flower should be small. Okay, because it does not need to attract any of those. Okay, they should not be brightly colored, they does not require scent. Okay, these three factors, because this wind is a abiotic factor. Okay, what do you mean by abiotic factor? That means non-living. So a non-living does not need a flower to be large, a flower to be brightly colored, or the flower to be produce scent. Okay, so these conditions are there, that the flower should be small, not brightly colored, and does not produce scent. In this, only a special condition they need, that the anthers should be large and loosely attached. What does that mean? See, if the filament is too long, okay, if the filament is too long, this is the anther, these are the 4 pollen sac. If they are loosely attached to plants, so it becomes very easy for them to get versatile. Versatile means to get spread. Okay, and the pollen characters should be light weighted, because if the pollens are light weighted, so it becomes quite easy for them to get move from the place. Okay, it should be dry and it should be smooth, so that it can get easily disposed, or it can be easily get carried away by the wind. Okay, example of it is maize. Now water pollination. The word water pollination, the word water, you have already heard about this word, hydroelectricity also you have heard about this term. The word hydro means water and the phyllis means the affinity. Okay, what is the condition that are necessary for the water pollination to occur? The pollen grains should be produced in a large quantity. If the pollens will be produced in a large quantity, so it becomes very easy for that plants to carry out the pollination. Pollen grains have specific gravity that is almost equal to the water, so they remain floating below the surface of the water. Suppose this is the surface of the water. Because of the gravity part, the pollens are not on the surface, they are below the surface of the water. Like suppose the pollens will be here, so it becomes very easy. But in some special case, as in a condition of Vallisneria, okay, as in a condition of a Vallisneria, what is going to happen? The pollens are going to move to the surface of the water. Like suppose this is the surface of the water. The pollens you are going to get, they will be situated something out here, okay, on the surface of the water, so that the pollination can occur very easily, so that the female flowers can meet the pollens easily. This is an example of water pollination, that is Vallisneria. Okay, So what happens? This is the male part and this is the female part of the flower. If you are going to look carefully in your textbook, the female when the female flower get born, it usually have a structural like this spiral shape. Okay, they easily get coiled. When this female get mature, this coiling gets open and form a structure like this. You can see in this diagram as well. See this structure like this. See. So when a female flower is born, it is quite spiral in nature. Okay, but when they get mature, it forms up a shape like this because the spiral gets open. Why they get open? Because when they get mature, they get big in size, and the female flower, you can see out here, goes on the surface. Okay, goes on the surface. Why they go on the surface of the water? Because they have to find these pollens. And where are these pollens situated? On the surface of the water, as in a condition of Vallisneria. This is the male, and see this, you can see this part. You can see this part. This is the male part which is producing these pollens. See this in large quantities. These pollens are getting moved upwards. Okay, and they came on the surface. And when these pollens came in contact with this surface water, this female got big and got on the surface, and due to the flow of the river like this pollen started to move into the direction of the female, and the pollination can occur in this kind of a place. Now ornithophily. The word ornitho means bird, okay, and the word phily means the affinity. So this kind of a condition you will be able to see in the Bignonia and Canna. Bignonia and Canna. Okay, in this kind of a pollination we need birds. Okay, and the flowers are quite very large in this ornithophilic condition. Now we are going to discuss about the allipophily. The word alli is giving you some hint. Okay, elephant. Okay, it is giving you a hint of elephant. So you are exactly right. This allipophily condition is being carried out by the elephants only. This is a special kind of a condition which occurs in a Rafflesia. Okay, in this kind of a pollination, see, this Rafflesia lie close to the ground. Okay, they are lie close to the ground. So whenever elephants come into the jungle, okay, so what the thing happens, this Rafflesia produces a lot of pollens. Okay, and when these elephants walk, they trample their feet on this part. Okay, this Rafflesia, so the pollen gets stick onto the foot. The pollens get stick onto the foot of these elephants, and when this elephants walk again, so these pollens get dropped on the female flower, that is the stigma. Now we are going to do about the artificial pollination. What do we mean by artificial pollination? Okay, when the man himself is an agent. Okay, see, we have studied about the different types of agents, but if a man is involved in this kind of a pollination, it is called artificial pollination. In the ancient civilization, that is the period of a Babylonian period. The people in those days were not aware about this pollination part. Okay, so what they used to do, they used to take up the female, they used to take up a male flower, and from the male flower they used to take these pollens, they used to carry them in a bag. Okay, and they used to take these pollens and used to spread on the garden. So after few days they saw a new flower got arise, so they got shocked. Why they got shocked? Because they could see a new variety of the flowers. The people in those days were not that mature or not very well developed, so that is why they came into the shock and they saw upon new flowers. So from the Babylonian period and now also we carry up this kind of a pollinations. Okay, in modern days time, this artificial pollination is called as the standard practice, because many of the plant breeders and scientists puts the efforts to evolve the new varieties, because even they wanted to see this new varieties of plants. So this is called as the artificial pollination. So this was the part 1 of pollination and fertilization. Thank you, students.